In 2026, most people in Britain will never see £10,000 sitting in a savings account. Not because they're lazy, not because they don't graft. The typical household in this country is holding somewhere around £3,000 in liquid savings, and for millions, even that modest number feels like a distant fantasy. Here's the uncomfortable truth: nobody prints on a motivational poster. The first £10,000 is the only money you will ever earn that demands 100% manual labour. Every pound of it has to be dragged into existence by hand. Think about the physics for a second. Any engineer will tell you the hardest part of moving a heavy object isn't keeping it moving, it's getting it to move at all. It's called static friction. Picture a car bogged down in a muddy ditch. Once it's rolling, it barely needs a nudge to keep going. But that first inch takes everything you've got. Shoulder against the boot, boots slipping in the mud, engines screaming, and the wheels just spin uselessly in the mess. That is your first £10,000. You are heaving a car out of a muddy ditch, and for a very long time, it feels like nothing is moving at all. You're not on the paved road yet. You're on the loose gravel hill, where every step forward slides you halfway back down. And most people, understandably, give up right there, convinced they simply weren't built for this. But while you're pushing, something else is happening, something inside your own head that nobody ever warns you about. Behavioral economists have a name for it. It's called cognitive bandwidth. Your brain runs on a fixed amount of processing power, and when your balance slips under £1,000, an enormous slice of that power gets hijacked by survival maths. Psychologists describe it as being overclocked. You're running far too many background processes at once, and the whole system slows down. Every trip to Tesco becomes a live calculation. You stand in the Aldi aisle weighing up a shopping basket like it's a mortgage application. Do I get the nappies this week, or the electric top-up? That mental tax, that constant, low-grade hum of scarcity, is genuinely exhausting, and it is completely invisible to everyone but you. This is the cruel design of the whole thing. Being skint is expensive, and not just in pounds. It's expensive in attention, in willpower, in sleep. The very state that makes it hardest to save is the state that drains the mental energy you'd need to save your way out of it. Now let's talk about why the climb is so brutally steep in Britain specifically. Because we don't save into a vacuum, we save from inside a cage of fixed costs, a cage most people never even notice they're standing in. Start with rent. In the southeast and right across the home counties, housing swallows the majority of a take-home wage before you've bought a single loaf of bread. Then comes national insurance, the NI line on your payslip that quietly takes its cut before the money ever lands in your account. Then council tax, arriving every single month, whether you like it or not. By the time the genuine essentials are covered, an enormous number of hard-working people are left with a saving margin of perhaps £200 a month. And that's if they're disciplined. That's if absolutely nothing goes wrong. At £200 a month, reaching £10,000 takes more than 4 years of flawless behaviour, 4 years of saying no, 4 years of near-perfect discipline. And here's the trap that catches nearly everyone. Life does not run on perfect. One MOT failure, one emergency vet bill when the dog swallows something it shouldn't, one unexpected repair you never budgeted for, and the clock resets to 0. You watch 4 years of no evaporate in a single grim afternoon at the garage. That is precisely why so many people spend their entire working lives circling the same £3,000, never once breaking free of the mud. But here is where the whole story turns. Because there is a moment, a specific, almost magical threshold, where the money quietly stops needing you and starts working for you instead. Let me show you the maths and watch closely what happens. Say you've clawed your way to £1,000 and you've got it sitting in a decent cash ISA. In 2026, a competitive cash ISA pays somewhere around 4.5 to 5%. Let's be generous and call it 5%. 5% on £1,000 is £50 a year. £50, that's it. It's basically invisible. It won't change your life. It barely covers a weekly shop. And that invisibility is exactly why so many people conclude that saving is pointless. Now run the identical 5% on £10,000. That's £500 a year. £500 earned while you sleep, earned while you're at work, earned while you're crawling through traffic on the motorway. £500 pays your entire car insurance bill, or it's a flight to Europe, or it's a Christmas that doesn't quietly go onto the credit card and haunt you until March. That is the moment the money starts breathing on its own. Same discipline, same percentage, but 10 times the balance, and suddenly the numbers are big enough to actually feel. Your money has stopped being a passenger sitting in the back seat. It's finally out there pushing the car alongside you. And this is where the real transformation happens, and it isn't financial at all. It's about identity. Below £10,000, you are a tenant of the bank. You rent your stability month to month, and that stability can be evicted at any moment by a single unexpected bill. But the instant you cross £10,000, something fundamental shifts. You quietly become an owner of time, because £10,000 is what I call a Sayonara Fund. It's the fund that lets you survive a redundancy without your stomach dropping through the floor. It's the fund that lets you walk away from a toxic boss instead of swallowing it for another miserable year. It's the fund that turns every I have to into I choose to. In this country, real wealth doesn't announce itself with a flashy car on the driveway. Real wealth is the presence of silence, that deep quiet in your chest when the survival maths finally, blessedly, goes quiet. Imagine waking up on any random morning at the very start of the work week and properly knowing, that whatever happens at the office today, you own the next 4 months of your life outright. Nobody can take those 4 months from you. That feeling isn't luxury, it's freedom. And it begins at £10,000. So how do you actually get there in 2026? Here's the strategy, and it's far simpler than the finance influencers want you to believe. Do not get distracted by complex investing, crypto, or clever stock picking while you're still stuck in the mud. Your first and only job is the foundation. And in 2026, the single best home for that first 10,000 is a cash ISA. You can shelter up to £20,000 a year across your ISA allowance, completely free of tax from HMRC. No tax on the interest, no matter what income band you sit in. One crucial thing to know, from April 2027, the amount that under 65s can pour into a cash ISA each year is being trimmed down to £12,000. So the current tax year is your widest possible window. Use it while it's open. Build your 10,000 now, before the door narrows. Think of it exactly like building a house. Your first 10,000 is the concrete slab. Later, once you're genuinely steady, you can build the upper floors, a stocks and shares ISA, a SIP for your long-term pension, the real compounding machine that runs for decades. But you never pour the roof before the foundation has set. Get the 10,000 solid first. Every single thing else is built on top of it. Because in the end, the first £10,000 was never really about the money at all. It's a character test. It's living proof that you can delay gratification inside a culture engineered from top to bottom to make you spend. Every advert, every one-click checkout, every buy now, pay later button is deliberately designed to keep you renting from the bank forever. The first 10,000 is hard because it's built entirely out of one small word: no. No to the impulse buy. No to the upgrade you don't need. No to keeping up with people who are quietly drowning in debt behind the scenes. But here's the reward waiting on the other side. That whole mountain of no is exactly what buys you a life full of yes. Yes to the better job. Yes to the holiday. Yes to walking away when you need to. Yes to sleeping right through the night. The first £10,000 is the hardest money you will ever make, but it is also the very last time saving will ever feel this hard. Push the car through that first brutal inch of mud, and you'll spend the rest of your life gliding on the paved road. If you learned something, like and hit subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.